All right, let's just jump right into this fascinating explainer by Ryan McLean. It explores this brilliant, kind of mind-blowing idea that the human body is literally a universal navigation machine. So if you've ever wondered how your brain somehow manages to guide you through a pitch-black room and a complex moral dilemma, well, you're in for a treat today.
Picture this. You're walking to the bathroom in the middle of the night, right? And you are determined not to wake anyone up by flipping on the lights. Now, your brain doesn't have this perfect illuminated blueprint of the hallway. Instead, it's constantly guessing, checking, and correcting your path. It takes just a tiny bit of sensory data, predicts where that doorframe should be, and adjusts immediately when your toe finds a laundry basket that definitely shouldn't be there. You know the feeling. The point is, you don't need absolute certainty to take a step. You just need enough information to make a quick correction.
And this perfectly captures the author's grand unified theory, the master map of human navigation. The core thesis here is absolutely wild. It argues that the exact same biological mechanism we use to walk in the dark is what we use to navigate abstract concepts, complex social relationships, morals, and even our deepest religious beliefs. The hardware is identical. How crazy is that?
So here's our roadmap for the explainer today. We're going to cover the built-in navigator, one connected physical system, mapping abstract spaces, capacity versus destination, and finally, interpreting the destination. And I promise you, the massive intellectual leap we're about to take, from microscopic brain waves to vast human belief systems, is going to be totally logical and easy to follow.
Okay, Section 1. The built-in navigator, continuous estimation in action.
So, rather than waiting for total certainty, your body acts like a continuous estimator. It's integrating all these incredibly complex, but frankly imperfect sources. I mean, you've got your memory giving you a rough layout, you have proprioception, which is your body's innate sense of where its limbs actually are, plus your inner ear's vestibular system keeping you balanced. The real magic here is that your body integrates all these different signals to make its absolute best guess. And then, boom, it course corrects the second you bump into a wall. Every single successful step naturally narrows down your uncertainty.
Moving on to Section 2. One connected physical system, the biology sandwich.
The crucial point here is that these physical layers, they build on top of one another without canceling each other out. This basically means that fundamental quantum rules govern the chemical molecules, which construct the living cells, which eventually build the neural networks that actually help you find your car keys. You aren't just a bag of chemistry, and you aren't magically separated from physics the moment you have a meaningful thought. The whole shebang is physically connected, literally from the atomic level all the way up to human consciousness.
But, to make sense of all these layers over time, the brain has to organize them somehow, and it uses neural oscillation to pull this off. Think of oscillation exactly like an orchestra conductor. The conductor isn't up there playing the violin or the trumpet, right? But they are telling different groups of neurons exactly when to jump in so the music actually makes sense. Without these tiny rhythmic fluctuations organizing your brain's timing, every single moment would feel completely disconnected from the last one. Navigation would be literally impossible.
All right, Section 3. Mapping abstract spaces, maps beyond geography.
This is where things get truly profound. Your brain uses these highly specialized neurons called place cells and grid cells to build a reusable geometry. See, these cells don't just memorize a rigid list of left and right turns, they build an actual relational map. And this map allows you to route your way through a physical city or, and this is the beautiful part, conceptually route your way through a really complex math problem. If one path gets blocked, your cognitive map just recalibrates and finds you an alternate route.
The implication of this shared architecture is just astounding. Deciding between two tricky moral values, or figuring out who holds the authority when you walk into a brand new classroom, it recruits the exact same biological mapping hardware as walking down a physical hallway. You're constantly mapping out who is quote-unquote close and who is distant, what's a safe topic and what's a dangerous one. To your brain, it is all just spatial geometry. Honestly, mind-blowing.
Which brings us to Section 4, Capacity versus Destination, the philosophy of the path.
Here, we really have to separate the vehicle from the destination. Because having a fantastic biological vehicle with amazing mapping capacity doesn't actually guarantee you're heading somewhere worthy. Think about it. A highly efficient map and a brilliant brain can perfectly guide someone toward a terrible, completely destructive outcome. Capacity simply asks the question, can this traveler follow a path? But the destination asks, okay, what is this traveler actually trying to reach?
The author weaves in this beautiful line of poetry from Emily Dickinson.
Tell all the truth, but tell it slant. It's this great reminder that as finite travelers moving through these abstract spaces, we almost never have the complete map from the get-go. So what do? We take the circuit, the indirect route. We course correct as we go. Just like walking in the dark, we really don't need total certainty to begin. We just need enough truth to take the next honest step.
And this is exactly why we've got to be careful. These false attractors prove that high efficiency isn't always a good thing. I mean, an ideological echo chamber, a cult, or an addiction, they can totally capture our brilliant navigational hardware. They can hijack your perfectly functioning biology to flawlessly execute a highly destructive path. They literally redefine what counts as a correction, twisting genuine doubts into supposed errors. It just goes to show why biological efficiency alone absolutely cannot tell us what is morally good.
Let's look at Section 5, Interpreting the Destination. Traditions as interpretive maps.
The paper outlines how all of these incredibly diverse human traditions actually utilize the exact same biological mechanism. Followers of every tradition receive signals, make memories, and course correct. And yet, they identify vastly different ultimate endpoints. Science corrects based on evidence and replication to reach explanatory truth. Buddhism corrects by reducing craving to reach a release from suffering. The biology remains completely universal, but the maps, the authorities, and those final destinations are profoundly different.
Now, to keep all these different layers from just turning into a confusing blender of ideas, the author proposes this framework called Catholic invariant grammar. Basically, it's a method to impartially relate biology, quantum physics, and theological endpoints, making sure we don't accidentally treat a scientific measurement like a religious revelation, or vice versa. It allows us to confidently say two things have a similar structure, without pretending they are exactly the same thing.
This grammar insists on firm boundaries. For example, it teaches us that a neural signal in your brain is just a sign. It's part of the path, but it is definitely not the ultimate destination itself. By preserving these distinctions, it means that spiritual meaning and biological physics can happily operate in the exact same human body, at the exact same time, without erasing or invalidating each other.
And finally, our conclusion: one mechanism, many maps. To wrap up this explainer, we've seen that you are one seamlessly connected physical organism. You rely on continuous estimation, memory, and cognitive mapping to move through a dark hallway, and you use those exact same tools to navigate complex moral dilemmas and lifelong philosophical journeys.
The second Emily Dickinson poem perfectly captures the essence of this internal navigation. Hope and meaning act as our persistent signals. They continue to sing and guide our internal trajectories, basically serving as the distant destination for our biological compass, even when our physical paths are entirely obscured in darkness, and we're forced to just fumble and correct our steps along the way.
So, I want to leave you with this final thought to ponder today. Your biology is flawlessly doing its job right now. Your brain is mapping, it's predicting, and it's adapting. But a flawless vehicle is really only as good as the place it's driving to. So, take a step back and ask yourself, exactly where is your internal map taking you?